Phyllis Schlafly is my heroine. I came to know about Phyllis Schlafly, goodness, years ago, decades ago, with all of the work that she was doing on nearly every topic. On the Equal Rights Amendment, Phyllis was smack in the middle of that topic as well as everything else. She wrote something called the Phyllis Schlafly Report. At that time, it was a written newsletter on a sheet of paper. It was the front side and two insides and a back side. And I ordered the Phyllis Schlafly Report, and I couldn't wait. When I saw it coming in the mailbox, I was so thrilled. I would open it up and consume it almost like it was just a gift, because everything Phyllis said you could take to the bank. And for my money, I believe that Phyllis Schlafly is the most consequential female woman in public policy in the last 50 years of the 20th century, from 1950 to 2000. Think of what I just said, the most consequential female in many ways, but certainly in the area of the political sphere, is Phyllis Schlafly. And I say it for this reason. Had there not been a Phyllis Schlafly, I believe that we wouldn't have seen a rise of the pro-family movement. Had there not been a rise of the pro-family movement, I don't believe that there would have been a Ronald Reagan. Without a President Ronald Reagan, I don't think we would have seen the ability to defeat the evil, and yes, that's what it was, Soviet empire, and to bring a conclusion to the Cold War. Just as Ronald Reagan was consequential, Phyllis Schlafly was extremely consequential, because she was a T to tee up this president that we had, but she was so much more than that. Phyllis Schlafly engaged in every issue of the day. She wrote books about national security and foreign policy. She understood the problems with America's national security in a way that few men understood. She ran twice for the United States Congress. Congress was ill-served because she wasn't elected out of her state each time that she ran. But in many ways, I think Phyllis Schlafly's voice went even further and wider in the level of influence that she had. Certainly her appearances in the media over the decades, as well as her time on college campuses. She served as a role model, but she also entered the marketplace of ideas better armed than any opponent that she ever had. Pity the person who would be opposite Phyllis Schlafly in a debate. She has no peer. And I am truly her biggest fan, if not one of her biggest fans. It's a club that I'm very proud to be a part of. Phyllis is the epitome of how to stand up to feminists and how to stand up to leftist ideology. First of all, she knows who she is. She's extremely confident in who she is. And more than that, she is competent in who she is. So she is personally brilliant, she is physically gorgeous, and she's extremely articulate. You have the perfect package in an individual to be a fabulous face of the conservative movement. Phyllis was willing to be everything feminists wish they were decades before feminists figured out that they needed to be independent women in their own right. Phyllis was already there. And so rather than lifting up Phyllis Schlafly as the tremendous role model that she's consistently been throughout the decades, she was slashed and slashed by the feminists when she was exactly the epitome of what I think they had hoped to be. I'm so proud of her. I don't know of any woman that has ever equaled, certainly I don't think any woman will ever surpass what Phyllis Schlafly has accomplished for herself, for her family, for her community, and for our country. She truly is a tour de force in her own right, a tremendous woman to be reckoned with. But if the true story of America's greatness is written, there will be more than a chapter written on Phyllis Schlafly. Her influence is so strong because she derives the ideas that emanated from America's founding. And she knew that we needed to be true to those timeless ideals in order to be able to be strong and successful in the future. It's no accident that America became the most economically prosperous nation in the history of mankind, and that we have been the most militarily powerful, successful nation in the history of mankind. It is because of the profound truths of this nation that we were built upon. Phyllis got that, and she continued to publish those ideas and talk about those ideas and make sure that each subsequent generation understood the pillars of foundation of constitutional exceptionalism that we live in. And she's been unashamed about making sure that future generations of Americans understand that. She wrote about them. She lived them. She spoke about them. She advocated for them on college campuses, on television, on her radio show, through her newsletter. It is just simply staggering what this woman was able to accomplish in her lifetime. She's 90 years young. She's going as strong today as she was when she was a young, lovely lass. Now she's a bit more mature, senior lass. But as far as I'm concerned, Phyllis Schlafly truly is the epitome of womanhood. And she is a woman that every young girl can pattern their life after and should choose to emulate. And I don't presume to speak for God in any way, but I only say as a woman who looks at the life example of Phyllis Schlafly, I looked at her and in my own human eyes say, "Well done, thou good and faithful servant." She's a woman of tremendous Christian faith. I hope to finish as well as Phyllis Schlafly in the course of her existence. And what more could be said to that?